29 years old. In the last video, I told you about Sandra. Hardworking. No known medical condition. The woman who collapsed in the middle of her own presentation, and discovered that the cause had been sitting in her kitchen, untouched, every single morning for months. If you haven't watched that video yet, go back and watch it first, because what I'm about to share only makes complete sense if you know Sandra's story. But before Sandra left that hospital, before she got dressed, before she called her family, before she walked back out into the world with an IV mark on her arm and a new understanding of her own body, the doctor pulled his chair a little closer. And he said something that Sandra told me she thinks about almost every morning. I have been waiting to share this with you, because the first video told you what happened to Sandra. This one is going to tell you what to do, so that it never happens to you. The doctor looked at Sandra and said, "I want to tell you something that nobody tells people until after they end up where you are right now. And I want you to remember it. Not just for yourself. For everyone you know." He said, "Your brain runs on glucose. That is not optional. That is not a preference. It is a biological requirement. Every hour you go without food after waking up, your brain is working with less than it needs. It compensates. It borrows. It manages. But it is doing all of that while pretending to you that everything is fine. And one day, sometimes gradually, sometimes suddenly, it stops pretending." Sandra asked him, "But I felt fine for months. How was I fine if my brain wasn't getting what it needed?" And the doctor said something that she said made the hair on her arms stand up. He said, "You weren't fine, Sandra. You were compensating. There is a difference. Fine means you are functioning at your best. Compensating means you are functioning at whatever your body can manage, and calling it fine because you don't know what fine actually feels like anymore." She told me that sentence, "You don't know what fine actually feels like anymore," was the one that stayed. Because when she thought back over the months before the collapse, she realized she had been calling tired, normal. She had been calling foggy, just how mornings are. She had been calling the headaches, just stress. She had adjusted her baseline downward so gradually that she had forgotten where it used to be. Then the doctor gave Sandra 3 specific things. Not a long list. Not a complicated program. 3 things. He said, "If you do these 3 things consistently, your body will not need to take the decision out of your hands again." The first thing he said was this: eat within 1 hour of waking. Not a full meal necessarily. He said, "I don't care if it's eggs and bread. Not something complicated. But something real, something with protein or complex carbohydrate that gives your brain something to work with before you ask it to work. I don't care if it's oatmeal with nothing on it. I care that you eat something before your brain has to manage another meeting on nothing." The second thing, and this one surprised Sandra, was water. Before coffee, before tea, before anything else. He explained that after hours of sleep, the body is mildly dehydrated every single morning. And the first thing many people do is give it caffeine, which is a diuretic, meaning it pulls more water out. She had been starting every day by making the dehydration worse before she even left the house. The third thing was the one Sandra said she least expected from a doctor. He said, "Learn to recognize your own early warning signs. Not the dramatic ones. The quiet ones. The 10 a.m. fog. The headache that comes at the same time every day. The hunger that arrives as irritability before it arrives as hunger. Your body speaks to you in a language it has been using your whole life. The problem is nobody teaches you to listen to it until after something goes wrong." Sandra sat with those 3 things for a moment. Then she asked the doctor one more question. She said, "How long before I feel the difference?" He looked at her and said, "Give it 3 weeks. 3 weeks of consistency. And then tell me your body feels the same as it does right now. She gave it 3 weeks. She told me it felt nothing like the same. I spoke to Sandra after her recovery. I asked her what she wished someone had told her before the collapse. She didn't hesitate. She said, "I wish someone had told me that taking care of yourself is not a luxury. It's not something you do when you have time. It's the thing that gives you the energy to do everything else." I was so focused on being productive that I was destroying the very thing that makes productivity possible. She also told me something about the presentation, the one she collapsed during, the one she had spent 3 weeks preparing. I asked her if she ever finished it. She smiled, and she said, "Yes." 2 weeks after the hospital. I went back in. Same room. Same colleagues. Same slides. And I delivered every single word. I asked her how it went. She said, "I got a standing ovation, and I had eaten breakfast that morning." Sandra told me she keeps one thing on her desk now, right next to her laptop, where she can see it every single morning. Not a motivational quote. Not a planner. Just a bottle of water and something small to eat. A reminder, she said, that the body she is asking to perform for her all day deserves to be fed first. Because here is what her story really comes down to. It was never about willpower. It was never about discipline. Sandra had more discipline than almost anyone in that office. The problem was never that she wasn't strong enough to push through. The problem was that she was strong enough to push through for far too long, on far too little, until her body made the decision for her. So let me ask you the same question the doctor asked Sandra. What did you eat this morning? Not what you're planning to eat. Not what you'll grab later. What have you actually put in your body today? Comment your honest answer below, right now, before you scroll away and forget I asked. And if this changed even slightly how you're going to treat tomorrow morning, subscribe now. Because Sandra's story is over, but there are more people out there right now doing exactly what she used to do, and calling it strength.